Welcome to the body scan. This is a guided meditation that was developed about 2,500 years ago, and there are many different versions of the body scan available. The one we're going to be practicing now is the one that was developed by Jon Kabat-Zinn for the MBSR program. So the purpose of the body scan, the aim of the body scan, is to help bring us into greater awareness of our body sensations. So we're developing our mindfulness practice in this way. So just as we use the breath for the purpose of meditation, for the purpose of learning mindfulness, paying attention to the breath, so too we can use body sensations in order to help us develop the sense of concentration that's very helpful in our mindfulness practice. So as we travel through the body, and I'll guide you through, what we'll be doing is noticing what's present in each area of the body. So there are many different sensations that we might notice in any given area of the body. There are sensations like itching, tingling, pricking. There might be a sense of neutrality, meaning that you're not really noticing much of anything at all. There might be sensations of heat, warmth, heaviness, lightness. There might be sensations of pain or discomfort. So as we travel through the body, we're not imagining the body, we're not thinking about the body, but we're actually opening ourselves up to this inborn capacity to really use our sensory awareness. So this is a sense of awareness that's been with us since the moment we were born. An infant takes in all of its information through the senses. So we still have that capacity from when we were infants. It just tends to get covered over as we get older. So seeing if we can open ourselves up to experiencing ourselves on a sensory level. So let's begin. And let's begin by focusing on the left foot, specifically the place where the left foot meets the floor, and then circling our attention around to include the instep, the top of the foot, the bottom of the foot, the heel, the toes, and noticing the left ankle. So again, here, not so much imagining or thinking about the foot, but what do you feel there? What do you sense there? And now gently shifting attention upwards into the lower left leg. So noticing the shin and the calf and the left knee joint. Noticing what's there, being present. So another one of the benefits of practicing the body scan is it continually brings us into the present moment. So when we're paying attention to the body always being in the present moment, then our focus is in the present moment. Noticing what's here, what's happening now. Most commonly, our attention is either on the past or the future. And so one of the benefits of a practice like the body scan is to bring us into greater awareness of the present moment, using the body as the focal point. So now shifting from the lower left leg into the upper left leg. So noticing the thigh muscles in the front, hamstring muscles in the back, and starting to sense into that left hip joint. Being present, being aware. So now shifting attention, we're going to focus on the right foot. Again, beginning with the place where it meets the floor and circling around to include the instep, the top of the foot, the bottom of the foot, the toes, the heel, and the right ankle. Avoiding assuming that what happens on the left is the same as what you're going to feel on the right. Seeing if you can open to each area of the body anew. Seeing what's there in this moment. And now sliding attention upward into the lower right leg, noticing the shin and the calf and the right knee joint. Being present, being aware. For those of you for whom guided imagery works, you can also play around with imagining that you're breathing in and out of the area we're focusing on. So for right now, for example, imagining that you're breathing in and out of the lower right leg area. So this works for some people, not for all. It can be used to help focus attention. And now shifting attention to the upper right leg, noticing the thigh muscles in the front, hamstrings in the back, sensing into that right hip joint. So the hips are where the large thigh bones, the femurs, meet the pelvis. So seeing if you can sense into that area as well. Being present, being aware. So now we're going to shift our attention into both hips, so joining the awareness of the right hip with the left hip. And we're going to explore with our attention this pelvis area, the pelvic girdle. So here we have this bony structure that gives shape to the bottom of the torso. In a sense, this is the foundation of the torso. And so we have skin on the outside, we have muscles, we have the large gluteal muscles, the rear end muscles in the back. And then we have bone, the pelvic girdle, and we have organ systems here. So seeing if we can sense into the inside of the body. Though some of us can do this, some of us can't. See what's true for you. We have the system of elimination in this area. We have the system of reproduction. We have the genitals. So seeing what you can feel into, what you can sense, being present with the pelvic area, the pelvic girdle. And now shifting attention upward just a little bit into the belly. So again, we have the organ system of digestion here on the inside of the belly, seeing if you can perhaps sense into that. Perhaps also noticing what your sense of hunger might be or satiation with regards to food. So seeing if you can notice that physically here. Being present, being aware. So as we travel through the body in this systematic way, we might notice that our attention wanders away. And this is totally normal. This happens also when we're doing breath-based meditation. So we notice the attention wanders away, and in that moment of noticing that, that's actually a moment of mindfulness. So in a sense, we've woken up from our reverie. That's a moment of mindfulness. All we need to do at that point is bring our attention back to the body. And the invitation here is to do that without judging the self. So without judging yourself for allowing the mind to do what it naturally does. So the mind naturally wanders, and then with our practice, we learn to bring it back. And so when you're bringing the mind back during the body scan, there's no need to try to remember, gee, was I at the left foot or the right wrist or wherever you happen to be. Just come back to the body and wait for the next instruction. See if you can just relax the attention and wait for the next instruction. So now we're going to focus our attention behind the belly into the back, beginning with the tailbone, and then gently sliding the attention upward into the lower back and spine, the mid back and spine, and the upper back and spine. So seeing if you can sense into, if you can notice this column of vertebra, this bony structure that gives shape, gives form to the torso, and then noticing the musculature on either side. If you're lying down, perhaps noticing the places where your back meets the floor and where it doesn't meet the floor. So noticing the places of contact and no contact, and what does that feel like to you? And now bringing our attention forward from the spine into the chest. So we're going to begin by noticing the rib cage. So this delicate bony structure that connects in the back of the body to the back and then comes around to the front to form the chest. The rib cage protects the lungs, the system of respiration. It protects the heart. We might notice that it's expanding and contracting with each breath. What does that feel like to you in this moment? Perhaps you can sense your own heartbeat. Some of us can, some can't. Just noticing what's true for you. There's no right or wrong experience with the body scan. So this is about, in a sense, being a scientist of our own experience, simply observing what's there, allowing it to be, not attempting to manufacture any type of sensation, just noticing what's already there. And now we'll withdraw our attention from the chest, and we're going to shift focus into the left hand. Noticing the thumb, the fingers, the palm, the back of the hand, and the left wrist. So it can be interesting to notice the hands that are busy all day long, from the moment we wake up until the moment we go to sleep, noticing what the hands feel like at rest, specifically the left hand. And shifting attention now into the lower left arm, noticing the forearm, the inside of the elbow, and the left elbow joint. As we travel with our attention through the body in this way, we may notice that we're focusing on the lower left arm, for example, and then we notice an emotion coming up. Maybe a sense of sadness comes up. And then we might notice a memory coming up in association with that emotion. So we can notice these movements of energy as they come up, and then refocus on the body. So in a sense, we notice them just as we're noticing the body sensations. So we notice sensation in the arm, we notice an emotion, we notice a thought, and then we come back. From the perspective of mindfulness, from looking at the practice from that lens, it's all part of the practice. Notice emotion, notice thought, notice sensation. It's all part of the mindfulness practice. And now shifting attention into the upper left arm, noticing the bicep muscles in the front, the tricep muscles in the back, and seeing if you can start to sense into the left shoulder joint. So this is where the arm meets the shoulder girdle. So being present. And again, if it's helpful to you to imagine that you're breathing in and out of this area, practice with that. And now we're going to shift our attention to the right hand, noticing thumb and fingers, palm, the back of the hand, and the right wrist, being aware. As we travel through the body, we might notice tight muscles in the areas that we're paying attention to, or perhaps we notice tightness in other areas of the body. So seeing if you can, when you notice muscle tightening, seeing if you can release those muscles, relax those contractions. If not, noticing that, then that's part of the practice. And now shifting our attention into the lower right arm, noticing the forearm, the inside of the elbow, the right elbow joint being present. Shifting attention now into the upper right arm, noticing bicep muscles in the front, the triceps in the back, and starting to sense into that right shoulder joint. What are you noticing there? We're scientists of our own experience, and there's also an invitation to look at the body sensations with a sense of affectionate curiosity. So mapping to our definition of mindfulness, paying attention on purpose in a particular way to the present moment with a sense of affection and curiosity about ourselves, about this body. What are we noticing? So now with our attention, let's connect the right shoulder with the left. We're going to become aware of the shoulder girdle, and this is the bony structure that's the complement to the pelvis, and it gives form to the upper part of the torso. This is also an area of the body where commonly many of us hold tension. So we might notice that by the end of the day, our shoulders are up near our ears. So seeing if we can release and relax this area, if you notice any muscles being held that don't need to be held in order to keep you in your position, whatever position that is. So just releasing and relaxing tension if you can, being aware of the shoulders, the front of the shoulders, the back of the shoulders, the tops of the shoulders. What are you noticing there? Being present. We'll now slide our attention upward into the neck. So noticing the presence of the esophagus perhaps in the center of the neck. Noticing the front, the sides, and the back of the neck. And now moving our attention upward and starting to explore the face. We're going to start with exploring the jaw joint. So this is actually a very large joint in the bottom of the face, and it's a joint that we're using all day long, much as we do with the hands, with talking, with eating, and just noticing how that jaw feels when it's at rest. It can be an interesting practice to allow the lips to part slightly, and this can allow the jaw to relax. Oftentimes we're holding it with a slight degree of tension without even really realizing it. So seeing if you can release those muscles if you notice that for you. And now bringing your attention upward over the chin and starting to explore the mouth coming up over the bottom lip and sensing into the mouth, the teeth, the tongue, the roof of the mouth. Noticing the back of the mouth where it starts to descend into the throat. There are many, many nerve endings in the face, so there can be a lot to notice in these areas. And then bringing attention upward over the upper lip and coming up the cheeks. And starting to explore the nose area, the outside of the nose, the nostrils, the inside. Perhaps you can even sense into the sinus cavities in the face. See what's true for you. And then moving attention upward into the eye area. So noticing the eye sockets, the closed eyelids, perhaps noticing the weight of the eyeballs. And then moving upward to sense into the eyebrows and the forehead. Again, releasing any tight muscles that you can release. And so being present with the whole facial area, being aware. And now bringing our attention up over the top of the head, the sides of the head and the ears, and the back of the head. Perhaps noticing the sensation of hair or the sensation of the head resting on the floor. Being present, being aware, here in the present moment. And now releasing our awareness of the head, we're going to become aware of the entire body, and I'll guide you through that. So, expanding our sense of awareness to include the head and the face, the neck and the shoulders, the arms and the hands, the chest, the back, the belly and the pelvis, the legs and the feet. So holding the whole body in our awareness, in our attention, and breathing. So here we can imagine that the body, the entire body, is held in a bubble of our awareness. And as we inhale, this bubble expands slightly. As we exhale, the bubble contracts slightly. So breathing in and breathing out, being present, being aware. So now taking 2 deep breaths to end our practice, breathing in deeply, exhaling fully. And when it feels natural to you, opening the eyes.